2023 Town Board meeting. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which Okay, good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, Councilwoman Bingham and Councilman Scancarello will not be here this evening. They expressed their disappointment, but there was some commitments that they had made much prior to this evening's meeting. So it would just be Councilwoman Houle, Councilman McGinn, and myself this evening.
Stuck with us.
Stuck with us. Stuck with us. So we'll start out for a motion to open up this evening's meeting.
Who will make that motion?
I'll second it.
Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
McGinn, aye.
So moved. Okay, I have on the agenda Girl Scout Troop 524. Do you know if Mrs. Carrillo is coming this evening? What's that? She's running late. I know she had softball or something, so we'll hold off until she gets here, okay? All right. Monroe Clean Sweep. So we're scheduled, everything's in order. We're scheduled to kick off Saturday morning, 8 o'clock at St. Anastasia parking lot. So far, I believe there was about 40 or 50 people registered on the website. And I think it'll be a great event, a good evening. Oh, speaking of Jenny. No, that's all right. So that's really all I had relating to that. We have a job fair that's being held at Monroe Woodbury High School. And that is on April 27th from 5 to 8 p.m. So if you're looking for a job or you know anyone that's looking for a job, there'll be some different representatives there from companies. So please be sure to attend. Food Truck Festival. Everything seems to be in order. We do have a motion that I have to make, that we have to do from it. We'll do that first thing after the announcements. It's got to do with an ATM machine that we were able to secure for the day. But everything's in order, 11 to 7, June 17th. We'll have 5 bands there. It'll be another great event, another great day. It's at O&R Park on 61 Orange and Rockland Road. Next up, Councilman McGinn.
Okay, it's also under community happenings. Friday, May 5th, 6 p.m. at the Orange County Courthouse is the 2023 Orange County Law Enforcement Memorial Service. This is held annually ahead of Police Week and recognizes the fallen officers that have either lived, died, or worked here in Orange County. There's 6 officers going on the memorial wall this year. 2 of them died from line of duty COVID exposure, and the rest died from World Trade Center related. Out of the 6, 2 of them were Monroe residents. Lieutenant John Zonefeld, 47 Precinct, NYPD. He passed away on July 20th, 2020. And Police Officer Eric Murray, 25 Precinct, NYPD. He died on very beginning of COVID, April 9th, 2020. So listen, it's a great event. Get out and recognize those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for your community. We'll be sending this out on constant contact, but please spread the word and try to make it up there to show support.
Thank you. Okay, if we go on. Girl Scouts. Okay. So this past weekend, myself, along with our planning board member, Steve Thaw, our highway superintendent, Pat Patterson, along with a number of staff members from the Hudson Valley Honor Flight, and 84 veterans had the opportunity to get on the Honor Flight and visit Washington. Steve and I were guardians. We basically shadowed veterans. My wife and my daughter the same. And it was an awesome experience. And I will tell you girls here, I reached out to Jenny Carrillo and asked her, because at the end of the day, as you get on the flight to come home, they do a mail call, which is symbolic of how it used to be years ago. And Pat can tell you, there's not a dry eye in that place when they do mail call. And the girls here, when I reached out to Jenny, ended up writing, you had four. You had Bob Chappelle, Ed Bonham, Anthony Saltalamacchia, and Joe DiMartini. Joe was actually from Monroe. And it was, these men were so touched by, not only by your letters, by all the other letters that they received. And it was a great tribute for you girls to do that for them, because the sacrifices they made back in the day are what give us our freedoms today. And there was nothing more special. And I'm sorry, Tommy Luddington, who's sitting there, I miss you, Tommy, was also a chaperone. And it was neat, because I didn't know Tommy was on it. And then after we saw the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, I introduced Tommy to our phys ed teacher in high school's son, who was one of the board members, Kevin Green. Our teacher was Leroy Green. So there were just so many things that came together. And then at the end of the day, if you go to Sacred Heart Church, you probably know Father David Ryder. Well, Tommy was actually sitting next to Father David Ryder's father. It was an awesome day. And if you, Pat will sell this more than anyone, but if you never experienced it, it's something you have to do. And you can get in touch with Honor Flight on their website. So I want to thank you girls for the dedication you made to the veterans on that airplane. I will tell you, there was nothing more poignant than watching them read letters from you, because we actually got to see them. I had two of them sitting next to me that opened them up, and there was a third that was across the aisle from me, sitting with our daughter Gina. So on behalf of Honor Flight, our town board, we just like to give you what we call our Making an Impact Award. So we have pins for everyone. So as I call your name, if you come up, we'll give you a pin and then stay after for a picture. So the leaders are Jane Kimbrell and Jenny Carrillo and Melinda Gorman. Okay. I'm going based on what you sent me, and it's all over the place. Okay, so if you three could come up, then we have the girls, and if I miss somebody, just raise your hand. We have Kristen Torellis, Lindsay Castagna, Melinda's coming up, Nyla Hicks, Holly Romeo, Isabella Pavignano, Jane Kimbrell, I said Kristen Torellis. Stay up here, girls, stay up here. Alexa Duran, Alora Armstrong, Alyssa Berger, Amelia Kimbrell, Aofi Gormley, did I say that right? EFO, okay. Caitlin Schubert, Darcy McPeak, and let's see, I got Kaya Carrillo. Yasmin Mosker. Wait, give me a sec, sorry. I said Nyla Hicks, right? Holly Romero. Alyssa Berger. What are your names, girls? I'm sorry, because I got 3 lists and some of it is cut off. Elizabeth Kimbrell. Okay, come on up, Elizabeth Kimbrell. Sneha Moe. Thank you. Come on up. So if we could come in here, girls, we're going to take a photo. Or, why don't you come in here, girls? Stand, just like you would stand there, just stand across here. We'll stand in the back. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wait. Can I get Steve, Tommy, and Pat? You come up here too? Okay, we're good? Okay. Dave, you want to speak? Before I turn it over, September 11th? No. So in September, there's a welcome home, another flight. I thought it was October 8th. Okay, I think it's in September, October 8th, right?
Yes.
Okay, so October 8th is another flight that, what happens is, give you a little quick overview of this. You meet at ShopRite in Montgomery. There's an escort with police cars, fire engines, ambulance, and over 300 motorcycles. And no matter what the weather is like, everyone's there. And they escort you from ShopRite in Montgomery to the airport. When you get to the airport, there's hundreds of people waiting for the veterans to come out, and there's a cheering squad, a line as you walk in, which is incredible. And then after the day, you come back off the plane, and there's twice as many people there cheering the veterans on as they come out. It was a phenomenal experience. But I'm going to turn it over to you, Jenny.
Just wanted to say a little something. Thank you very much for you guys for recognizing these girls. So these girls have been doing this since they were daisies, and it's the same group. And it's amazing that they're teenagers, you know? And most of the time at this age, they lose interest in serving their community. But this group, it gets bigger and bigger every year. And we have great leaders, Melinda and Jane, and everybody pulls together when, you know, one person can't do it, the other one steps in, and that's how it's done really well. But anytime anything is asked of these girls, whether serving dinner to veterans or writing cards or going to pick up for Clean Sweep, every single one of these girls, and some of them are not here to get the recognition, they just show up. And that's the most important thing. So you guys are really great, and I'm really proud of you. So thank you.
Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Okay. Next item up. And girls, you could stay however long you want. You don't have to stay. It gets very boring.
If I was you, I'd run
I'd
for
leave.
the door. Run for the door while you can, you
But-
know?
There we go, okay. Took a little prodding. Thank you very much for all you did.
We'll see you Saturday, girls.
Okay, item 4.1 is a motion to open up the continuation of the public hearing regarding proposed amendments to local law E-V1 of 2021. It's a Chapter 57 zoning to establish a two-family dwelling overlay for the area of the town of Monroe, north of Route 17. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to open.
Poole will second.
Call the question?
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Can I?
So moved.
No public comment?
No public comment.
All right. Just a couple of things. So we have a draft, Mr. Nugent, of the local law that, or red line draft that Max Stock, our town planner, sent us. So we have the neg deck, we have the FEA Part 2 and 3, and the AP Parts 1 and 2. So what do we need to do at this point? Because we haven't, like I said, we have the red line version of the local law, but not the actual version. Or am I wrong?
I think there was a clean version sent after Max's outside of his memo.
Was there?
Yeah.
All right.
but-
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Okay. All right. So it incorporated those changes that Max had recommended.
Yeah,
then?
that's
Okay.
correct.
All right.
So,
Sorry about
yeah,
that.
you're tonight at a point where if you want, you can close and adopt.
Okay.
You
All
have
right.
the secret and the forms and then the resolution to adopt.
All right, so this law has been before us for the last year and a half.
Started in 21, yeah.
Yeah. So it's been we've had it for quite a while. I think it's at the point that we are.
21.
Yeah. So that being said, I'll make a motion that we adopt the local law.
Close the public hearing first?
Okay.
Yes, I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Poole will second.
Call the question?
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Begin aye. And now I'll make a motion that we adopt the local law.
Poole will second.
Local law number 5-2023 regarding the establishment of a two-family dwelling overlay zone.
Yes.
Okay. You second it? Call the question?
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Begin aye.
Okay, so moved. Just also, before we go any further, I just want to acknowledge, we have our colleagues in Chester here this evening. We have former Mayor Bell, who's here. We have from the Village of Chester, Brian Boone, he's a councilman. And then from the town of Chester, we have Bob Courtney. We had a mood in the meeting earlier, and I guess they decided to sit in and see how you can screw up a meeting pretty good, so. Okay. Item 4.4 is a motion to open up the continuation of a public hearing to consider the adoption of introductory local law number A-V1, amending the town code of the town of Monroe, requiring utility companies to remove inactive, broken, and/or dormant poles within our town boundaries. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Begin aye.
So moved.
No public comment?
Highway Superintendent Patterson.
I think the law is great, and Monroe's going to look a lot better when we start forcing them to take their poles out. So, in talking to Brian, council, I think everything looks good.
All right.
Yes,
Did you
so-
add, counsel?
Supervisor, this law is also ready to be adopted. There was a minor non-material change, removing a term permit in one of the paragraphs and replacing that. Otherwise, the local law is in form if the board does wish to close the public hearing and then adopt tonight.
Favor of the board.
I will make a motion that we close the public hearing for the local law
6.
number 6, double poles.
I will second that.
Okay. And it's local law number 6 of 2023. Okay, call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Begin aye.
So moved. I'll make a motion to adopt the local law number 6 of 2023, amending, would you title it?
I just called it double polls.
Double polls.
All right, I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Call the question?
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Oh, wait, are you turning your stuff over here? I was changing. That's mine, no, I got mine over here.
I don't have an issue with where I turn my pages over to.
We're usually not this close.
Yes, exactly.
I'll move over.
No, you're good, you're good. Okay. Next item up is a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing to consider the adoption of introductory law number B-V1 to amend Chapter 57, the senior citizen exemption, and to add Section 47-18, subdivision C concerning veterans' disability compensation.
Make that motion.
Poole will second.
Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
Anyone sign up to speak?
No
Madam
public
Clerk?
comment.
No. Okay. Counsel, can you just clarify? I mean, I'll read the resolution. No, well, there's no resolution, but yeah.
Yeah, I can give you the overview. So this is an exemption that under real property tax law in New York, Section 467, the board is permitted to adopt a provision that says, and this is actually under the seniors exemptions, but in that code it would say that the income limits that are in the code shall not include veteran disability compensation as defined in the United States Code. And that's because those thresholds, all this does is exclude that veterans' disability compensation from being counted towards the threshold amounts to receive the exemption. So this just adds a one sentence to under Section 4718 sub C. So this law is also ready to be adopted if the board so chooses after the closing of the public hearing.
Okay. Discussion? Make a motion to close the public hearing to consider the adoption of introductory local law number B-V1.
That would be local law number 7 of
Local law
2023.
number 7 to amend Chapter 47, Senior Citizens Exemption, and to add Section 47-18, Subdivision C, concerning veterans' disability compensation. Do I have a second?
Poole will second.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
So moved. Last public hearing for the evening. Motion to open the public hearing for local law C-V1, which would make it number, what? Oh, adopt, sorry. I'll make a motion to adopt the local law 7 for Chapter 47 senior citizen exemption.
Poole will second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
So moved.
3 local laws in one night.
Hey,
I
we're
know,
rocking
right?
and rolling.
Wow.
What are we going to do during this part of the meeting?
We'll find something.
Sal was holding us back.
Yeah, exactly. Item 4.8 is a motion to open the public hearing for local law C-V1 or local law number 8 regarding video conferencing for municipal meetings. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I do have public comment.
You do have? Okay.
Carol Hawkshurst.
Come on up, Carol. How are you this evening? Good.
No, it's not on. The light's not coming.
Carol Hawkshurst, Hawkshurst Road, Monroe. Can you elaborate a little bit on what this entails? Is it more just for public officials for the video conferencing?
I'll defer to council, but
Or this, basically, what New York State did was they adopted a statute in the open meetings law that if you remember during COVID, boards, operated under the executive order. Prior to COVID, if the board wanted to use video conferencing to have, let's say, a board member participate, they could just post the address and be able to put that on the notice and allow that board member to participate by video. With the new statute, the board, in order to do that under any circumstances, there were a few changes, but one of them is that at least 3 board members have to be in a publicly accessible location, so they put in some kind of qualifiers to count towards the quorum. But upon adoption of this law and the regulations that go with it, a board member could participate from the outside. However, if a board member is allowed to participate and there's public comment, the public also has to have that same access or opportunity under the law. So this basically is a necessary step if, in any circumstance, the town board wishes to use video conferencing. You now have to first authorize it with a local law. So that's the purpose of this law.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, because I've brought it up before, so people who may be disabled can't attend these meetings, could they actually have access through video conferencing or virtual?
Sure, it's a good question. So this law is really about authorizing the board's participation initially. The question you're asking is if the board was all here in person but wanted to allow some type of hybrid meeting where people could participate from the outside, they don't need the local law to do that. That's ultimately a policy decision and obviously a logistics decision to have that set up. But there's no law required to allow public participation from the outside via Zoom. It's only for the board.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Carol.
That's all for public comment.
Okay. I don't feel the need for this to be prolonged, go any further, so I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye. So moved. And then I will make a motion to adopt the local law number 8 regarding video conferencing for municipal meetings.
Poole will second.
Oh, go ahead.
You got it.
Poole will second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Houle. Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
So moved. Okay.
Supervisor, before we move on, there's one additional resolution with this local law because you're also adopting the regulations that were provided, the rules, if you will, and those can be amended by resolution. So we just need a resolution to adopt the regulations provided to the town board for video conferencing.
I'll make a motion. 8.
These are policies and procedures that you're required to adopt. So you'll see in there's the policy and procedure document. That's your rules, which you can amend, but it kind of sets forth town's policies and procedures, so they can be adopted and revised by resolution.
I'll make a motion that we accept the state recommended.
I'll second it. Question?
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. All right, acceptance of the April 3rd, 2023 minutes.
Poole will make a motion that we accept the minutes of the April 3rd, 2023 board meeting.
3rd, 2020. All right, I'll second it. Any discussion? Any changes, alterations, corrections? Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Abstract for budget transfers. So we have abstract 23-12, which totals $367,636. So I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Udna Joint Sewer Commission. So we have a cash transfer that at the previous meeting, Mudna approved. of $1.2 million to be transferred from the general account into New York class. That's basically it. It's in order to get a higher yield of interest.
I'll second for discussion since I sit on the Movement Board. So just for those of you sitting in the audience or listening at home, the town of Monroe acts as the financial conduit for the Mood Commission, and that we take in the funds, we pay their employees are part of our payroll system and so on and so forth. So that's why we're moving this, because we oversee the finances, we are tasked with moving this, and the reason why is so we get a higher interest yield as opposed to leaving it in the regular M&T bank account. It's still there, just can be moved back when we need it, but just make some extra money off it, that's all.
And it's liquid.
Right. You
Right
just
away,
Sweep the
yeah.
money in the next day and sweep it out the day after that, so. Okay, call a question?
Cool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
And I,
Okay, item 8.1 is the general fund abstract. I will make a motion that the town board of the town of Monroe request the approval of abstract number 23-06 from the general fund containing checks 29996 through 30048 totaling $132,065.24.
second.
Call the question.
Cool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
And I,
So moved. Okay. Item 9.1 is Crown Castle Fiber Service Proposal. Grant, you want to come on up? So I happen to meet Grant, just a little background here, with Crown Castle. He sought me out at a Association of Towns meeting. Grant, if you could leave me 2 more of those, if you could just leave them with the clerk, please. You could just leave them with the clerk. Thank you. Grant sought me out. We have had discussions over the last 8 months or so, and I wanted him to come in to explain the Crown Castle product and how the town could benefit.
Well, thanks. I'll try to be brief.
Just tell everyone your name, where you're from.
Yeah. Sorry. Grant Preston, representing Crown Castle Fiber. We're locally based out of Newburgh, New York. We work with municipalities, businesses, banks, hospitals, school districts all over the state and the country. We own and operate a nationwide fiber optic network that provides internet service, data connectivity, and those associated services to organizations, anything central really. Why I'm here, as Tony said, is because we've been having conversations, not just with Tony, but with other municipalities throughout the county, trying to, spread the word that, there are better ways and we can certainly improve efficiencies with internet connectivity for municipalities such as the town of Monroe. What brought me here in the immediate is there was an outage fairly recently that affected the town's operations. So Tony asked me to put together some options to replace the current internet service provider with our dedicated fiber internet service. So that's what's in front of you today. I did take a look kind of at what I'd call our base service. It's 100 over 100 meg internet connection, again, over fiber. The upload and download speed, as you'll see, is the same, 100 over 100. Based on the conversations we had and the uses that the town employees use here today, I believe that's a good starting point for service here. Once you have fiber in the building, the equipment's in place, it's very easy to upgrade. We provide the town the ability to look at a minute-to-minute reporting structure of the utilization for if there ever is more applications being used, more employees accessing it, the public accessing it, it's very easy to upgrade as you need. The biggest thing with us is the reliability and the speed of our service. It is apples and airplanes versus what you have today. It is a dedicated internet product. The best way I could describe it is the service that the town uses today is what we all have at our house. It's cable coax service. It's got its own inherent limitations in what it can support. Fiber, the sky's the limit. It is the fastest, it is the best out there. So with that, we do offer a 4-hour mean time to repair if there ever is fiber cut somewhere because of a traffic accident, let's say. We're not waiting for you to call us. We monitor this service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Chances are we're going to know it's down before you do. If that's the case, we respond and repair it within 4 hours. Otherwise, there's compensation due. So we take that network very seriously. Like I said, we operate with every major hospital banking system in the area because they know it's secure, it's reliable, and it's fast. And with that, I mean, that's about as brief. I will say we've been in this area for 20 years. We started as Hudson Valley Data Net in 2003. Orange County has utilized our service from the beginning. Orange, Ulster, Boise, same thing. Town of Chester, has contracted
Bad
with
reference.
us. So those services were just installed in January, and I've heard nothing but good things, obviously. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you've got.
So the fiber that you operate over, is it your own lines?
It is. That's a great question. Everything we do is owned and operated by our company. It's all our own fiber. It's all our own technicians. Billing, support staff. Everything is us, 100%.
Have fiber that could run to this building?
We have fiber right outside, running right along the road now. So to bring it in here, it's just we find the closest fiber splice point, run it through the existing conduit, attach it to our equipment that we'll install here, and give you a handoff, and away we go.
Not like in the consumer or
We
market.
do not do residential service, no. We do work with other organizations that do, so they will buy internet from us and then run their own fiber to homes, fiber to the home and that sort of thing.
Your fiber is your fiber and not,
Yeah,
you're
correct.
not running it on
Correct.
Frontiers.
I always tell
or-
people we're the biggest company you've never heard of. Because not only do we do the whole internet for businesses and municipalities and all of that, but the other side of our business is cell towers. So AT&T, T-Mobile, all those folks, they contract with us to run fiber to their towers. So it's 90,000 miles of fiber throughout the country right now. So yeah, we've been doing this a long time.
So the infrastructure is here already?
It is
fiber
here.
infrastructure
It is
is
here.
already laid out?
Yes, absolutely.
It's just a matter of connecting it.
It's just, yes, yep, so the fiber's already run right outside on the road. Like I said, it just takes our technicians, locate the fiber splice point, bring the fiber in, a couple strands of it into the conduit, and that's it. Having said that, it seems simple, but it'd take a couple of months to do it, but.
Can you explain in layman's terms
Yeah,
the difference between fiber and cable when you have a lot of users on it?
yeah, so it's a great point. So, and that's why I keep saying the word dedicated. So coax cable, Optimum, Spectrum, whoever the local cable provider is, that same wire, that coax, it's a shared network. So whether it's going to your house or whether it's going to your business or whether it's going to the town hall, it's a shared network throughout the town. So let's say 3 o'clock, kids get out of school, they start streaming, they're gaming, they're doing everything online. You'll see your service degrade. The speeds will degrade, it'll get slow. I'm sure you've all seen it. If you were to run a speed test, you'll see that for sure. The other part of it is the speeds on coax are not dedicated. They're what I call best effort, meaning they say, okay, we'll give you 300 meg of internet. So it's 300 meg download, 30 meg upload. You could run a speed test 1,000 times a day. That fluctuates throughout the day depending on what's happened. Ours is 100 over 100 meg. You can run a speed test 1,000,000 times a day. It will always be that speed. It is not affected by anything going on in the area. It's a dedicated connection.
So then to that same end, if the town of Monroe is coming off of the coaxial internet, does that then mean that they're technically freeing up that bandwidth for the rest of the community?
Yeah, I mean, it would be, yeah, certainly. To a degree, it would make it better. It's kind of like, I'm just trying to think of a good analogy. It's escaping me. Yes,
For the time that the town
The
would-
utilization, you know, the service that you're using today, if that were to be disconnected and you would agree to go with us, we install our service, get it all working, make sure it's tested and everything works out. You switch over your equipment to us, the Wi-Fi, everything else, to our service. Once we confirm that's all working, that will free up, that will free up that bandwidth to be used in the area for other users.
How would this affect, like, you know, our fire alarm systems, security systems, all those type of things? Is there any
Yeah,
switch
so
over,
that's a
or
good
what's the-
question. So if we were to do this, we would coordinate on the turnover of that with, you know, your IT staff, you know, all of those other services. So if those folks need to come online, or I'm sorry, come on site, we would coordinate all of that with you and those people at a time convenient to you, obviously, and then we would make sure that that all works. Yeah, I mean, in this case, it's internet for internet. It's just, you know, the speed and the reliability of it more than anything.
Question, is this comes in the building? It's 100, but is that then distributed, or is it 100 at all the particular ports within the town hall, for example?
It would be 100 over 100 meg coming in here, so, you know, that's really up to your IT staff how that's kind of broken out, but typically it's a shared service. So I'm pretty sure your IT staff could figure out a way to kind of provide some sort of, I don't know, what's the proper term, distribution of that to those that may need higher bandwidth in the town. But that's really up to your IT staff. We just provide you, here's the water out of the hose. You figure out where you want it to go.
Yeah, so I mean, the speed inside could be a little lower.
What's that?
The speed within could be a little lower, in other words, for the user inside the building, or no?
Yeah, I mean, typically, like when I say 100 over 100 meg, we'll obviously give you a little bit more because we understand, like, once it leaves our network, even if it's from here to here, you know, it's going to degrade a touch. So we'll always give you more, but you'll get at least 100 over 100 meg.
I guess what I'm asking is if there's 20 or 30 users inside the building
Yep.
using that, is their speeds lower than the 100 because it's distributed across?
No.
Okay.
They can each run a speed test on their individual laptops or phones or whatever it is they're connecting with, and they can see that same speed. Yep.
Okay, Grant, I appreciate you coming here.
Of course.
It's something obviously we got to digest. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll
Yeah.
talk.
Let me know if you have questions, please.
All right.
I guess the next step, if we decided we wanted to explore this more closely, is what, you'd give us a proposal, cost?
Yeah, everything, the proposal itself is in there on the
What's in there?
left-hand side. Yep, pricing's the last page. But again, I mean, there's other, as I say in the proposal, there's other options in terms of speed and terms and things like that. I think I gave you a 36 and a 60-month term. So if there's other options, and again, I mean, feel free to run it by your IT staff. You know, I'm sure they're aware of who we are.
Have you worked with New Windsor IT before?
I've had conversations with him, yes.
With
and
John?
Yes, with John. Yeah,
Okay.
McDonald, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
yes.
Yeah.
He's definitely aware of us. Yes.
Okay. All right, good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you
you
very
very
much,
much.
Grant. Have a good evening. Thanks for your patience. Okay, we could digest this and rehash it at a later date. Item 9.2 is the seasonal labor hire for Mudna. Mark Bono, have a good evening.
Good night, Grant.
We need a resolution approving the hiring of Mark Bono for the position of seasonal labor at Mudna. The anticipated start date is April 18th, that's tomorrow, at a pay rate of $18 per hour. Yeah, Mudna moves quick, if anybody didn't know that.
Better call them at home if we vote this down.
The seasonal appointment shall not exceed the maximum seasonal employment time period of 9 months as set forth by the Orange County Department of Human Resources.
I will make a motion that we pass the resolution hiring the rate of 18.
Who will second?
Second, any discussion? Call the question.
Who will aye?
Cardone, aye.
Again,
So moved. Item 9.3, It's a part-time bus driver position at Dial-A-Bus. I'm going to make a motion to approve Laura Ippoliti for the position of part-time bus driver at Dial-A-Bus at an hourly rate of $20, not to exceed 20 hours per week. Her employment, we're a little slower here in Monroe. Her employment is going to be effective April 19th, 2023. Laura's been pre-approved by this position for the Orange County Department of Human Services, Human Resources.
Who will second?
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Who, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Deacon, aye.
So moved. Okay. We have a short-term rental application at 110 School Road. It's SBL 29-1-40.2. It has been pre-approved by our building department. Dyer, I know you came up tonight. Would you like to come up to the mic?
Good evening.
State your name. And
Yep. Dyer Halpern, Dyerhalpern.
So, we're here to approve this rental. I personally want to say thank you guys because it was you, Ilya, and the group over in Osseo Park that totally changed our thought process because we were looking to exclude them. And after much conversation and your assistance in guiding us, to where we are, we're here tonight. Unfortunately, you're the second one.
I know. I was very defeated by that fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
blame Ben.
So, but we're happy. We're happy it's finally done and over with, and just formality this evening. Did you have any questions for us?
No, I wanted to thank you all. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure working with you, with Ben and his staff. They're absolutely fantastic. I was as nervous for his visit last week as I was for my 10th grade algebra test. But I'll say that, we've happily paid a lot to the town for permits and all that, and we think that's just fine, and also have had guests, who have spent money in the past at our brand new restaurant right on the lake there, the Mexican restaurant, which is great, and, hopefully helping fund that. So I think it's just been a win-win, and thank you all again. And that's it from us.
Happy that this all worked out, and again, thank you for your input, because again, our first inclination was to kind of squash the whole Airbnb thing, and then we realized it is an economic driver for the town, and so thanks, appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to approve the STR, short-term rental application for 110 School Road with the SBL of 29-1-40.2.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion?
Just note for the resolution that the board is determining that the application has met the standards set forth in the short-term rental chapter of the code.
Okay. Noted. Got that, Madam Clerk? Every word of it, right?
Want me to read it back?
It could say it's chapter 40 of the town code.
Do we need a stenographer all of a sudden, or? No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So moved. Thank you. Okay, call the question.
Who, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
So moved. Thank you. Congrats.
Thanks.
Yep. Have a safe trip
Take
home.
care.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up. Item 9.5 is the town hall meeting use request to approve Village of Monroe's use for the town hall meeting room at no charge on Saturday, May 6, 2023, from 12:30 to 2:30 for the purpose of inviting the public to participate in an information session regarding the redesign and update of Crane Park.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Who, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
So moved. Okay, just give me a second here. Next item up is the school road utility drainage, which I would like to table, I believe. Sorry, I don't want to table this. Pat, did you want to talk about this? This is on the proposal provided by Mercurio, Norton, Tiroli, Marshall for professional services related to the preparation of a utility easement for parcels on School Road in the town of Monroe. The combined subject parcels contain approximately .84 acres and are currently referenced as Town of Monroe Tax Parcel Section 31-3 and 31-4. That's 30-1-3 and 30-1-4. Did you want to
I could just
add a few details to it?
Yeah, the details basically is the area of Carroll and Laura, a lot of the water where they did the new water line, the drainage water is coming down through that property. We're making improvements up on Carroll, but to avoid the one house getting flooded when we get heavy rains, we'd like to put a catch basin in the top and put a catch basin down on School Road. I believe it's between number 55 and 57 is the house numbers, and eliminate the water that comes down on top of the surface and put it underground where it belongs. And this should eliminate the flooding of the house that they've had problems with for years.
The proposal is an easement description at $400 and an easement exhibit at $800 from the firm of MNTM. So, I mean, I think I will make a motion to approve both the easement description and the easement exhibit at a cost of $1,200. We do have to provide a 50% retainer fee on the signing of this contract. So, anybody else?
I'll make a motion that we accept the contract and authorize the supervisor to execute it.
Who will second?
Any discussion? Call the question.
Whole aye.
Cardone, aye.
And I,
So moved. Thank you. Item 9.7 is a ZBA escrow from, to be the return of the escrow balance of $1,091.19 for Max Wessels. The project was completed in October 2022. Final bill was issued and paid in November of 2022. And it's been obviously approved by the ZBA.
I'll make that motion. We take back the escrow amount.
Who will second?
Call the question.
Who will aye?
Cardone, aye.
And I,
Okay, so moved. Item 9.8 is the New York State Association of Tax Receivers and Collectors Conference. Madam Clerk / Tax Collector, would you like to explain that?
Sorry, this is a tax collectors conference in Ithaca. It is June 11th to the 14th. Very excited to be going to this conference as we just finished, well, I should say I just finished my second tax collection season, and looking forward to expanding my knowledge with this. So looking for board approval to attend.
Excellent.
Okay, and so the resolution authorizing tax collector Valerie Bitzer to attend New York State Association of Tax Receivers and Collectors Conference in Ithaca, New York, from June 11th through June 14th. Conference registration is 100. Hotel Ithaca for overnight accommodations is $585, which includes welcome reception on Sunday, breakfast Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, AM and PM breaks Monday, Tuesday, lunch Monday and Tuesday, and a dinner reception Tuesday. Dinner is on your own Sunday and Monday. So I'm going to say that we're at 685. Let's, I'll make a motion to approve up to $800 for this conference.
Poole, second.
Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Item 10.1 is the Monroe Volunteer Ambulance Corps Agreement. I was waiting for a correction from Nancy Pfeiffer, so I'd like to table that for this, to next meeting. I'll make a motion to table that item
Second.
10.1. Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye. Okay, so moved. Item 10.2, this is under old business as well. We have the Lake Sapphire Drainage District. I know Tommy's here. I know Eric is here. Steve, you guys aren't here for that, right? No? Okay. Is your daughter here for government? All right, you've heard enough of us. Come on up. Come on up. I'm
We'll
sorry.
sign for you.
Come on up, I'll sign it, and then you guys can head home.
See the lady right at the end over there.
Yeah, Councilwoman Houle will sign it. Thank you, and I apologize, hon.
Most educating.
Got to see a bunch of local
Thank you.
laws.
Nice to see you.
Good night.
All right, have a good evening, guys. Not that I'm kicking you out. I just, it's your fault, Johnny. I couldn't see her behind you, Have a good evening.
Have a good night.
Nice seeing you. Okay, so we're at, Tommy and I had discussions last week. I've had discussions with Sean Arnott from our engineering firm, MHE. We are at the point where we're awaiting a response from Megan. What's her last name? Alexander? Okay. What's that? Alexandra, okay. So she is gathering all the tax parcels for us. The only thing that has been omitted were the vacant land parcels, which she is working on, and we hope to have them up to MHE by this week. I know Sean is not around this week, so we still got another week to play with. He said he's primarily done with respect to that, and then once we have the maps, plans, and reports, we can essentially create that district, move forward. Did you want to say anything, Tommy, or? You just come, yeah, just come up, just, yeah.
Thank you, Tom Luddington, Lake Sapphire Residents Association. Basically, the lake has been drained down per the DEC laws. They've inspected it, and we've just been kind of waiting to go through this process. Megan got all the names that are on the tax rolls except for those vacant lands, and there's a lot of small ones up in that population, or up in that area that she's trying to track down, but she should have those. And then there was property that might have been sold. I think we're in good shape. I mean, anything you need, we're there. We appreciate being able to bring this forward. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, it was interesting. One of their residents told me that, when you were up on the site with us, one of their residents told me that there's an actual stone wall in the middle of the lake that is a property line divider.
Really?
Yeah. He's been at a couple of meetings. Is his name Scala? Does that sound familiar, Eric? Shorter guy. He has hair in his ponytail. No, I know Dave. No, it wasn't Dave. What's that? Yeah, he's up there.
Well-built dam, from when they cut it down, they had to V it down to drain the water slowly, day by day, and it was built. Stone concrete wall was built, and then earthen dam built around it, so it was well-built, so.
Yeah, we're moving forward. We'll try to,
The question, I guess, that is, does it?
I'll defer to council on that.
Well, what has been done so far?
We're waiting for the maps, plans, and reports.
Yeah, so once you have the map, plans, and reports, and they've been reviewed, then it would be to adopt an order calling for a public hearing, once we have the information. But in order to set the public hearing and prepare that order, you have to have the details that are in the maps, plans, and reports. So it's just it would be a 10-day minimum notice period for that.
All right, good.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you. Thanks for coming down. Thanks for coming down, Eric. That's it on the agenda. Public comment?
No public comment?
Did you guys want to speak, or? No, there's still some work to be done, which hopefully we will wrap up either this week or next week. I would have called you and told you it was on the agenda. So the reason I didn't call you back yet is I was inundated with stuff today, and you didn't, on your message, it wasn't referenced I was about this, so I assumed you knew it wasn't on the agenda. Bad assumption on my part. All right. So I'll hopefully have some answers from the county this week, and then we can basically wrap it up and put it to a vote. All right? All right, thank you. Have a good evening. No other public comment? Jack, what did you need tonight? Were you here for government too?
He's here for government too.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what, Jack? We're going to wrap up. Stay here another hour. Finish your homework.
He's also here because he wants to know when we're going to put his the nice plaque up.
Well, when we decide where it's going,
All right.
yeah, we can put it up.
All right, we'll do that right after the meeting.
Yeah, sounds good.
Why don't you
Sounds
come up,
good.
Jack?
So I just have
I signed it already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I signed it earlier. I was
So-
like, get out of here.
So I just have one other, we're going to bring from the floor, before we go into executive session, excuse me, we're going to bring from the floor the general agreement pertaining to the ATM and merchant services for our food truck festival. So this agreement made on the 17th day of April 2023 by and between Accessible Means LLC and Town of Monroe. I'm going to have counsel read this and make sure it's in a form suitable to him, but the ATM is providing the ATM at a surcharge fee of $3.25 per surcharge transaction, and it will be split between the parties as follows: $1 to the Town of Monroe and $2.25 to Accessible Means. And the payment to Monroe will be on surcharge transactions only. They also have a general liability policy of $1 million per occurrence. So I just need a motion, a resolution for the supervisor to sign.
I'll make that motion.
Hool will second.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Hool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Can I?
Okay. So moved. Can you pass that down to Brian?
Yes.
Great. Make a motion to go into executive session to discuss litigation and a personnel matter.
Hool will second.
Call the question.
Hool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Can I?
Okay. Thanks. Georgie, we're going to take a break in executive.
Good night, Carol.
Roger. Good night, Carol. Oh, okay. George, you ready? Okay. I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive session and return to the regular town board's meeting of April 17th, 2023.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. There was no decisions made in executive session, and as such, if there's nothing else to discuss, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting at 9:08 PM.
I will second that motion.
Call the question.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Good night.
So moved.